This is the ADI Part 1 Home Study course. The purpose of this course is to provide a systematic and structured home study programme in preparation for the ADI Part 1 theory test. There are two separate versions. First of all, we've got a hard copy workbook, which you can see here on the right hand side. Alternatively, you can carry out an online version, which you can see on the screen, where you buy the programme online, receive login details and study via your PC. As well as receiving the study guide, there are 6 DVSA recommended books and a theory test DVD. The books are Practical Teaching Skills for Driving Instructors, The Driving Instructor's Handbook, Driving the Essential Skills, The Official Guide to Learning to Drive, The Highway Code, and Know Your Traffic Signs. In addition, there's a DVD, All Tests, which has multi-choice questions and tests and hazard perception clips. The Part 1 study guide comprises 9 separate units of work. Each unit focuses on one or more of the subject groups which form part of DVSA's official theory test. In this case, we have Learning Unit 1, the driver. At the top of the page, it states roughly how long it's going to take to complete this unit, in this case 5 hours. There are then 3 topics that are going to be studied. There are also learning objectives for the PDI to be able to achieve by the end of this unit. And then a series of directed study activities, in this case steps 1 to 9. All you need to do is follow each step in turn. So here we read Driving Essential Skills Section 1, followed by 7 pages of the Driving Instructor's Handbook. Once that reading is completed, we've covered all the relevant stuff regarding the driver. We then go to test ourselves to test number 1, the driver, and you would mark and record your answers. Once the essential reading has been done in the 2 books that we previously mentioned about the driver, roles and responsibilities, we go to the assessment tests at the back of the book. And here we have test 1, the driver. And all you do is read the question. There are 4 possible answers, and there'll only ever be 1 question which is correct. In this test, in total, there are 20 questions. There are 30 tests in total, and the answer sheets can be found at the back of the Part 1 study guide. Here we've got answer sheet for test numbers 1 to 9. Other tasks. Here we have Learning Unit 2, Starting to Drive, which covers the topics, the controls, driving mirrors and starting to drive. And as usual, we've got the directed study activities, step 1, reading, step 2, reading, step 3, carrying out a test. And that continues until we get to step 9. At step 9, PDIs are told to go to pages 16 and 17, where they need to make some brief notes on information that they've already read about and answered questions on. So it's another way of trying to get information in. As we come to the bottom of the page, we have step 12, and here I'm asking PDIs to analyse their own driving and consider the steps they're performing as they move off, change gear, stop normally. And we're beginning to look forwards to Part 2 driving here, so that we're linking Part 1 and Part 2 together. There is an option to carry out practical training during the Part 1 home study programme. I carry out 6 hours of practical training with my PDIs during their home study period. First of all, I do an hour with them on hazard perception training. Secondly, I do 2 hours with them on driver training. And thirdly, 3 hours on an introduction to instructing, and that's the page we have open here. So it's 2 3-hour sessions, 1 hour on hazard perception plus 2 hours driver training, and then a few weeks later 3 hours on instructing. PDIs will get 15 questions on instructional techniques, and without this practical training on an introduction to instructing, they will struggle to be able to answer those questions. I do stress that this is an option and not something that has to be included in the home study programme, but highly recommended. To buy the ADI Part 1 study programme, go to www.philhurst.co.uk and click Shop. The Part 1 home study programme has two options. Firstly, the online study course, and secondly, the book version of the study guide. Both options require the purchase of the DVSA recommended resources. I hope you find this structured and systematic home study programme useful, and I wish you good luck with preparing for your Part 1 theory test.